Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Premier League predictions. We've got some massive Premier League games to preview and predict before the final international break of 2023. I am joined by Sophie. How are you?
Great, what a weekend of football that was.
Honestly, the games were crazy. These are the scores from mine and Sophie's predictions. I did just get the better of you by 1 point, but still you lead, but I did close the gap a little bit again. Your support has been fantastic on these videos, guys, and every time we smash a like target, we have to raise it one more. So this time we're going for 1,600 likes. Please do make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It is free to do, so do get involved by dropping a like. And if you haven't already subscribed, do make sure to subscribe. It is free to like, it is free to subscribe, and it just really helps the video, doesn't it?
It does.
So get involved, drop a like and subscribe, and do make sure to comment down below your predictions. If you think you're better at predictions than us, comment them down below, or you could do one better. We are delighted on the Matt SB channel to be saying we are sponsored by Pooky. Pooky is a football predictor game, which is certainly right up your street. It's right up our street. You can compete with the likes of myself and Sophie over there on their leaderboards for Premier League predictions, for example. You can actually earn in-game currency on the game, which you can extract into real money. And it's not just Premier League predictions that Pooky offers. You can predict the Champions League, La Liga, Bundesliga, so many things. But like I say, in particular, they do Premier League predictions, and it's certainly worth getting involved in.
And if you predict all 10 games correctly, you can win $10,000.
It's certainly worth getting involved. Imagine that. That's crazy. You guys say in the comments how you think your predictions are so much better than ours. Prove it on Pooky. Click the link down in the description. It is free to do. And like I say, a massive thank you to Pooky for sponsoring us. On to the Premier League predictions for today then, Sophie. We're going to kick things off in the West Midlands with Wolverhampton Wanderers taking on Tottenham Hotspur. This one should be an interesting game. One thing I'm just going to put out there is I'm going to go for some big predictions today. I want to go for some big calls. I want to see if I can get some really crazy predictions right today. Kicking it off with Wolves versus Tottenham. If you'd have asked me a few weeks ago, it'd have felt, you know, like it's a safe bet to go for Tottenham. Yeah. But Wolves' form has been improving, albeit they did lose to Sheffield United last week. So. As for Tottenham Hotspur, they had been flying up until Monday night, Sophie, where it all went wrong in one game.
It did. 2 suspensions, 2 injuries, and a 4-1.
And a 4-1 defeat. I mean, yeah, the scoreline, bad enough as it is, but as you say, 2 suspensions, 2 injuries, you know, Van der Ven and Maddison and Romero being one of the players that's suspended. This could be disastrous for Tottenham because it's got a knock-on effect to the next game. I think Wolves win this. I think Wolverhampton Wanderers are going to take advantage of this. I like Tottenham, I like Ange Postecoglou, and if they can turn it around, if they can win this game, then maybe Monday night is forgotten about a little bit. But the warning signs are there, and despite Wolves losing last week, they are so good under Gary O'Neill. They are so good. I think they could get right in like 10th place this season. They want to bounce back from losing to Sheffield United in the last minute. Spurs really need to bounce back from losing to Chelsea. I'm going to go for Wolves to win. I'm going Wolves 2, Tottenham 1. That's a big shout.
I mean, it is. I was going to go for a big shout and say a draw, purely because, as we said, Spurs have got 2 key players out injured and another one out suspended. Well, 2 out suspended. Wolves against Sheffield United, not a great result at all. However, before that, I will agree they were in pretty good form. So, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that much of a shock if they were to win this now, but I don't see it happening. I do see a draw playing out. So I'm going to be boring and say 1-1.
1-1. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think Wolves are really, really good, and they're starting to look a bit better, and they're sort of growing into the season. Tottenham look good. I do like Ange Postecoglou, and it'd be nice to see them go back to winning ways, because I'd love to see them in a title race, but it's going to be difficult with those players missing. On to the next one, Sophie. We're going to the Emirates, where it's Arsenal versus Burnley. Now, Sophie, I don't know about you, but I really can't not go for Arsenal here. Even when I'm on a roll with some really strange predictions, I can't really go this far. Arsenal, for me, strong favourites to win this game. They did lose their first Premier League game of the season last week away at Newcastle, and Arsenal fans, you know, a lot of them claiming there was some controversy in that one. We're not here to talk about that. We're not here to upset Arsenal or Newcastle fans. Ultimately, I think Arsenal bounce back to winning ways here. Burnley, they just really stink at the moment.
They do, and a lot of them are turning on the keeper, to be honest. They're saying he's
Trafford.
not up, Trafford, he's not up to Premier League standard whatsoever. So it'd be interesting to see if they stick with him in goal, actually.
It's funny how things change, eh? When the three sides came up, everyone was like, Burnley are staying up, the other two are going down.
Well, didn't we say that as well?
Well, I'm not saying we didn't say that, but right now, Burnley are probably in the worst form out of all three of them.
Yeah.
Sheffield United won last week and Luton got a draw against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Arsenal 4, Burnley 0.
Yeah, I feel like it could be quite a heavy scoreline, so I feel like 3-0 is quite kind because it's not going well at Burnley at the moment. It is. It could be like 4-5-0, to be honest. If Arsenal get firing, then Burnley aren't good enough to keep them out. So it could be a pretty heavy defeat here. But I'm going to say 3-0. I'm going to be nice.
3-0. Oh, you're being nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's good of you. Staying in London, we're going to go to Selhurst Park next, Sophie, where Crystal Palace take on Everton. This is difficult. Both sides got decent results last week. Palace back to winning ways, 2-0 away at Burnley. Everton with a decent 1-1 draw at home to Brighton, which is the only game either of us managed to get right last week, and that was me predicting 1-1 for that one. As I say, the scores weren't great last week from either of us. Do you know what? I'm tempted to go for another draw here. Everton have looked really solid.
They have.
I think they're going to be okay this season. I don't want to speak too soon, but they've got a nice little buffer over the bottom 4 now. And as for Palace, I don't think they're in any danger of that. You know, they're probably going to be competing for 11th place again. Yeah, really close. 2 very decent managers here, Sophie. Yeah. Roy Hodgson and Sean Dyche. I'm going to go for a very British 1-1.
Do you know what? I don't back Everton enough, and they've put in a few good performances, so I feel like I've got to go towards them. That's not taking anything away from Palace because, it was a good 2-0 win, but it is going to be harder against Everton. I can see Everton walking away with the 3 points here. 2-1.
2-1. Interesting.
It'd be a massive win, that.
Yeah, of course it would be, yeah. Right, next up, Sophie, we're going to go to Old Trafford, and it's Manchester United versus Luton Town. Well, I think I know which way we want this to go.
Luton Town.
We'd love to see Luton Town win this game. I just think it'd be fantastic to see them stay up. They got a really good point against Liverpool last week. And, this is what it's all about for the Luton Town fans, by the way. When they got to the Premier League, going away to Old Trafford, and interestingly, it's not impossible they get something. No. Man United, they don't play very well, but they seem to just get the results
somehow.
I don't think they were great against Fulham, and I did predict a draw, but they snatched it in the last minute to ruin my prediction. I could see this being close and Manchester United possibly snatching it. It seems to be the way. If you are a Manchester United fan watching this, do certainly share your thoughts down below, because I hope you're not thinking that you can get away with this sort of papering over the cracks. These wins against some of the bottom half teams are not convincing, and I still think there's a lot of pressure on Ten Hag. Do you know what, Sophie? I'm gonna give Luton a draw.
Oh,
Luton Town, I think it'll be close, and as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if Manchester United sneak it.
Yeah.
But I hope Luton Town can cling on in there, and they defend really well. They've got a good goalkeeper in Kaminsky. They might be able to snatch a goal on the break. 1-1.
Yeah, the thing with Luton that they're having issues is late stages of the game, they're giving away silly goals. Even in the Liverpool game, a stat popped up that they've conceded most of their games in the last 15-20 minutes. And I can see the same happening against United. I can see them holding on 0-0 and then United just sneaking a win. But what we've seen with Luton is that they're putting in some really good performances. They're really, really hard to break down. They put 11 men behind the ball, which teams are struggling against, and I feel like United will be one of those to struggle against. But I do see them getting the win. 1-0.
1-0. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But I've gone with my heart there and gone for Luton to get something. Do share your thoughts on Manchester United versus Luton Town down below. Next up, Sophie, we're going to go to AFC Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. Long, long journey for the Newcastle fans. Will it be worthwhile? I'm sure it will be.
So.
Bournemouth lost 6-1 at Man City last week. We said it was a free hit, but you've got to go there and not disgrace yourselves. And ultimately, with how tight it is down the bottom, goal difference
is key.
Is going to be massive this season. And if Bournemouth go down on goal difference, it's those kind of drubbings where you think, it sounds negative, but set up to get a 0-0.
Yeah,
I know
damage limitations.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. I think Newcastle win this one by a couple of goals. I'm going to go Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 2. Newcastle looking pretty solid, but they will be in Champions League action this week, so maybe that'll take it out of them a bit. But I still think they've got enough to beat Bournemouth. So Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 2.
Yeah, Bournemouth cannot afford to be shipping goals, so they really need to tighten it up a little bit in this one. Newcastle's performance against Arsenal wasn't the best by their standards, but they're playing against Bournemouth here, who have just been shipping goals for fun. So I'm going to say 2-0 Newcastle.
2-0
Just
Newcastle.
purely because, they're playing in the week. I feel like there's going to be a bit of rotation. Not going to be an absolute goal fest, but quite a convincing win. 2-0.
2-0, same as me. Interesting. Right, next up, Sophie, we'll move on to Sunday's fixtures. There's 5 more games to get through. Let's start at Villa Park, where Aston Villa take on Fulham. Now, Aston Villa seem to be very different when they're at home as opposed to when they're away.
Yeah.
Very flat performance from them by their standards at Nottingham Forest. Even Emi Martinez made a mistake in that game with one of the shots. It seemed to go through him. But they're back at home now, and when Villa are at home, I go for Villa. Especially against teams in the bottom half. No disrespect to Fulham. Fulham are solid. They're not going to be in any danger of going down for me. But they just seem to be a bit unlucky as well, because I thought they played well against Manchester United last week, and then they went and threw it away in the last minute after not taking their chances. So I think Villa get back to scoring ways. I'm going to go Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1.
I agree. Villa seem much better when they're at home, so they need to use their home advantage in this one to get back to winning ways. I agree with you about Fulham. They're not looking the same as they did last year, but that's unsurprising, to be honest. But they're still looking a pretty solid outfit for me. But I can see Villa trying to get a clean sheet. I think that would be massive for the team. They really need to get a clean sheet, and obviously the 3 points, and I see them doing it. 2-0.
2-0 Villa. Yeah, both going for Villa to win by 2 goals. Fulham, as we say, they're not bad, but Villa just seem to be very strong when they're at home, and they do tend to score a few goals. Next up, Sophie, we've got another game on the Sunday. We've got Brighton versus Sheffield United. First of all, Sophie, let's congratulate Sheffield United on being the final team to win, but they are up and running.
Yeah, well done. Good win.
Yeah, good win. We didn't call it.
No.
It's difficult when a team's not won so far into the season. You kind of... You're waiting for them to win. You know they will eventually.
They've got to win eventually, but you don't know when.
Yeah, and we didn't call it last week, but well done, Blades. Cracking goal by Archer. Yeah. And then last minute goal with the penalty as well. So up and running. Could really do with something here, even like a draw, to give Sheffield United something to feel like we've got 4 points in 2 games. We're moving in the right direction. And honestly... it's funny, Sheffield United have taken so long just to get 1 win, but all of a sudden they're right back in the equation because everyone else has only picked up 1 win down there. Luton have won once, Burnley have won once, Bournemouth have won once. They're all really sort of struggling together. As for Brighton, they'll be in Thursday night action in the Europa League. And in the Premier League last week, Brighton only managed a 1-1 draw at Everton. I know it's what I predicted, but Everton have been getting better. Brighton, just a little bit complacent. They really need to win this game, Brighton, don't they? At home to bottom of the table. Do you know what, Soph? I said I'm going to chuck a few interesting predictions in there.
Yeah.
Brighton 2, Sheffield United 2. The Blades are getting a draw.
Yeah, that wouldn't be that surprising, actually. I'm half tempted to say a 1-1 myself, but I feel like Brighton do have more quality. They just need to get it clicking again because they have almost just plateaued a little bit. So they need to get back to winning ways. They should be looking at this game as not like a must-win, because it's not a must-win, but it's winnable. So, and I feel like they will do it. 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it's an interesting one. Blades fans, Brighton fans, share your thoughts on that one. Next up, Sophie, we're going to go to Anfield, where Liverpool take on Brentford. Liverpool, Sophie, dropping points to Luton, but rescuing a draw at the same time. Bit of a weird one. Were you saying that's a good draw for Liverpool the other day?
Well, when you're losing, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
To rescue a point late on.
And very sort of poetic that Diaz got the goal.
Of course,
Of course, we'll mention that. Thoughts with him at this moment in time. As for Brentford, they won 3-2 against West Ham at home last week, and that was a really good game. This one's at Anfield. I think Liverpool are favourites, but Brentford have the ability to rock up and get something in these games. They're very good against top teams. Liverpool need to win, especially after not getting maximum points at Luton. I think Liverpool might just get it over the line. Liverpool 2, Brentford 1.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with your scoreline there, and I feel a little bit harsh on Brentford not giving them anything because they have been putting in a few good performances, and I feel like they'll do the same against Liverpool. But as we say, Liverpool need to get back to winning ways if they want to be in that title race, especially at home, and I see them doing it. 2-1.
2-1. Okay, 2 games left, Sophie. Let's move on to the London Stadium, where it's West Ham United versus Nottingham Forest. Sophie, what did I do last week? I went against Forest.
Yeah, we'll go against them again and then they'll get a win.
Yeah, maybe the Forest fans will be relieved that we didn't back them to win last week. I don't know what it is. It'll be bad luck charms or something. I tend to back Forest to get something where I can, but last week I felt like they were going to lose to Villa and they proved me wrong. Yeah. Fair play to them. It was a great performance.
It really was. Yeah.
Really good performance. 2-0, clean sheet against Villa. Brilliant. As for West Ham, they lost away to Brentford. As I say, they'll also be in Europa League action on Thursday night. This is difficult, Sophie. I like Forest more at the City ground, but they have looked better away this season as opposed to last season. Forest have been a bit draw heavy. I think that's where I'm going with this one. With West Ham playing on Thursday, maybe that takes it out of them a little bit. And West Ham, as I say, lost their last Premier League game. I don't think they lose this though, and I don't think Forest lose it, so I'm going down the middle with a 1-1 draw. Yeah,
I'm tempted to say 1-1, but I could see there being goals, so I'm going to say 2-2, an entertaining draw for me, but I do feel like a draw's going to play out there.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Going for Desmond.
Yeah.
Going for Desmond 2-2. West Ham and Forest fans, do share your thoughts down below. As I say, Forest fans, great result for you guys. On to the final game then, Sophie, and this one really could be interesting. Chelsea versus Manchester City. Save the best till last. I tell you what, before Monday night, I'd have been pretty heavy on Man City here. But Chelsea, what a win at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very unexpected.
And they've got goal scorers now. Jackson with a hat-trick.
Not a good one, but hat-trick's hat-trick.
Hat-trick's a hat-trick. Palmer's, maestro at taking penalties.
Yeah.
Manchester City looked brilliant against Bournemouth as well. They won 6-1. So it really could be set up for there to be goals going in every direction and someone wins this game 4-3. I think they both need to be really aware of the opposition's threats in this game because both teams can attack very well.
Yeah.
Pochettino, very good manager, and I really do hope that Chelsea have a good season this time round because I like Pochettino in particular,
like him as well.
and like some of their players. Man City are now top of the league after, Liverpool have been slipping up, Arsenal slipped up, Spurs slipped up. It was the perfect weekend for Man City last week. Maybe this week things level out and Man City drop some points. I'm not going to go for Man City to lose because they are just so good.
Just Man City.
But I'm going to go for another draw here.
Okay.
I've gone for so many draws this week, Sophie, and let's finish with another 1-1.
I love how you said I'm going to go bold this week. 1-1, 1-1.
No,
I mean, that one, maybe, but
come on.
A lot of draws.
I've backed Luton to get a draw. I backed Sheffield United to get a draw.
Stop justifying
I've backed Man City to get a draw. Some interesting ones. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, Man City win this for me. It's Man City. You can't not give Chelsea credit for their last result. However, it was against 9 men, so you've got to take that into account as well. But Man City, they look very, very good. They don't even need Haaland to be popping in the goals. They've got goals just in that squad. That Doku looks like a good player as well. Man City back up their last good result with another good one. Obviously not going to score 6 again, I don't think. But 3-1 for me.
3-1?
Yeah, I think it could be quite convincing.
That's not fair on Chelsea, Sophie.
Well, it is, but life's not fair, is it?
What do they have to do to win you round?
Put a few good performances in.
You got to do it.
Yeah, consistent.
You got to do it back to back, Chelsea boys.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. That wraps up our Premier League predictions for another week. Like I say, do share your Premier League predictions down below in the comments. Do one better and head over to Pooky and take us on in the leaderboards over there in the link down in the description. Make sure you've hit the thumbs up button and subscribed. It's free to do both, and we're pushing towards 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all in the next one. Peace out.